Hey, in this video we're going to be using Unreal Engine and we're going to be making AI characters move a little bit, get them to follow a path and come after us when we get close to them. So this follows on from the last video where I made AI that you could stomp on, jump on their heads, or bump into and get hurt. I still have several of those guys in this scene. We're going to be removing a few of them, but I think it'll be fun to just mess with them right here. I'm going to find my AI character blueprint and open that up. So they don't have anything in there yet. I deleted everything from their original script. And what I would like them to do is just when play begins, when we start playing, they immediately start their routine, start moving somewhere. So I can right click in here and do begin play. That's our starting event. And the begin play event can tell a character to move. So there are a couple of them. Simple move to actor and simple move to location. So let's just try one of these out. Simple move to location. For the controller, let's do, it doesn't let me do self. So I'll just right click, empty space, get a reference to self. And that should make the conversion for me. Controller object, I need to get my controller. All right, get controller. There we go. So I should be able to use either of these. Let's just get controller. And then our goal will be a vector. It would be a good idea to make this a variable, but for now, I'm not going to end up using this much longer. I'm going to just use make vector just to see these guys moving. So let's choose a location for them to move to. Let's say 300. I don't even know where this location is going to be. All right, 300, 100, and 0 for the vertical z-axis. All right, let's save that. Now these guys can't move on their own right away. If I press play, they're still there, even though I told them when you begin play, try to move. They don't really know where they can move. They know where they want to move, but they're not necessarily allowed to. So Unreal keeps track of that. Kind of lets you limit off the areas that AI characters can navigate to. And they do that using a nav mesh volume. So if you go over to the modes panel, click on volumes, there should be a nav mesh bounds volume. Drag that into your scene, and let's see where that is. Mine ended up in the air. I'm just going to make it so that it crosses this plane, and I'll scale it so that it covers up all of the areas that I'd like my AI to be able to go. So I could go further than this. I could go a little more vertical or whatever. But as long as it is containing all of this, we're good. Now, if I press play, these guys know that they're allowed to navigate using the locations, the terrain or whatever, surfaces that are within the bounds of that volume. And it looks like they all they all found that point that I told them to move to. I think that's it. So this is kind of the beginnings of where we can think about moving these guys. Back in that script, I don't want to make it just a fixed point. I would like to be able to provide a different point for all of those guys. It would also be nice if I could make it easier for a designer, someone to just like edit the level and move things around. So I don't want just a like 3 coordinates. What I'd like is an actual object in the scene that I can move around. So let's say we delete this and make a variable that's going to be, let's call this waypoint 1. We will make that public so we can edit it later, and we'll change the type to an actor. Okay. And since we're here, let's add another waypoint, waypoint 2. And what we'll end up doing, after we demonstrate this a little bit, we'll make the characters move between those two waypoints. So this is already an actor because that's the last type that I used. So we're all set with that. Let's take waypoint 1, get waypoint 1, and get actor location. And that will be our goal. Okay. Save that. All right. And now these guys will be wired up to kind of chase an actor. I could put myself in there, but I want them to go to a specific location of my choosing. So if I select one of them, you can see if you scroll down, you'll find that section. It says default right now because I didn't change the category of the variables, but it shows both of my variables from the script that I made public, waypoint 1 and waypoint 2. So I want to have an actor that represents the location of waypoint 1. So I want a kind of actor that's going to be invisible, but still something that I can see when I'm editing and move it around. So one good one for this is if you start typing in target, you'll get target point in the modes panel. So here's a target point. Let's go drop it just about anywhere. And so target point shows up as like kind of like crosshairs. And I can use it as an actor that these guys are going to be moving toward. So if I select these guys, waypoint 1, let's do, actually let me rename that object. It's called target point. That's its default name. Let's call that waypoint 1. And get another target out here. It's going to be waypoint 2. Okay, so now when I select these guys, I can give them those waypoints. Waypoint 1 and 2. Alright, I'm not going to bother giving both waypoints to these guys because I'm going to delete them in just a moment. Alright, so they all know where waypoint 1 is, so they all ran over to it. And that's what I told them to do. So now I will delete these guys so that I can make this more interesting and not worry about all these guys getting in each other's way. So I'm going to try to make this guy move from one waypoint to the other, back and forth. That's my goal. Let's see. Okay. So I said there are several ways to make these guys move. There is the simple move to location, right? That's pretty simple. There's also simple move to actor. So I could use this one instead, and then I don't have to use this conversion to the actor's location. I could just use the actor as the goal. So that's even cleaner right there. But if I want more control as well, I could go one step further and say move to, let's see, where is that one? There's an AI move to. So if you type in AI move to, that's how you can get there quickly. And this one, gives a bunch of additional features, I guess. And one of those features is this on success. On success and on fail will give you some feedback on whether or not the AI can actually get there and whether they do get there. So this is better for us because we want to sometimes know when they've finished moving to a location. So say you're moving between two waypoints, you want to know when you get to the first waypoint, because then you can move on to the second waypoint. And I wouldn't be able to do that with the simple move too. So this one will work better for us. It works mostly the same though. Let's see. It's not the controller that we're passing in here. Now it's the pawn. So get pawn. Get pawn. Get player pawn. Get pawn. Is that right? Let's see. We could, yeah, we can even do, I think it does it automatically if you do just, I don't think it'll let me do self. Oh, it does. Okay. Get a reference to self. That's even cleaner. I don't like all of that extra clutter. So self is the pawn. We'll be moving that pawn to this waypoint. Great. So make sure this works fine. Yep, there he goes. Okay, so it works exactly the same way, except we get some additional features here. So I don't want to do this right away when the guy starts this whole movement. So I'm going to break this and set that aside for later. What I'd like to do is kind of define what this guy can do. He's got to be able to sort of make a decision based on what's around him. He can look around him, and if the player is nearby, he should run straight at the player. So that's easy enough. We get the players, like we do maybe like a sphere overlap test to see if the player is nearby. And then we can use the actor of the player to go chase after him. The other thing, if you're not chasing, then you should be patrolling, let's call it, walking between these two waypoints. So let's define what that looks like. And these are going to be, I think, kind of similar activities. So the first one, patrolling, we're going to break these up into their own events like this. Event begin play. We might want an event that is like doing your patrol, and then when we begin play, we'll just say, well, start your patrol. And that'll make it easier for us to switch back and forth between patrolling and chasing. So if I right click in here, I should be able to make a custom event, add custom event. This custom event I'm going to call do patrol. And now that I've made that custom event, it should be available for me to say, do patrol off of this. There. Okay. So right when we start, we'll do patrol. And do patrol is going to move back and forth between two waypoints. So what that requires us to do is, if we want to be able to easily, I guess, interrupt what we're doing, like going from patrolling to chasing and from chasing to patrolling, we'll have to keep track of which one we're currently doing. I don't know if this is the cleanest way to do it, but it'll get us through it. We'll make a couple of variables that are telling us whether we're patrolling or whether we're chasing. We could use just one variable for like the current state or whatever, but I think it'll be clearer if they have their own names right now. So I'll add a new variable. This is going to be is patrolling. All right, we'll make that one a Boolean. So Booleans are either true or false. I'll add another variable, another Boolean called isChasing. There we go. And we'll compile it so that we can see their default values. They should both be false at first. So then when we begin play and we activate our do patrol event, execution is going to jump over here. And then we can say, all right, well, only when you're not patrolling already should you start patrolling. So we'll need to do a branch. Okay, let me get this movement stuff out of here a little bit. So do patrol only if we're not patrolling. So is patrolling, we'll get that. And if I want to go off of the true, then I gotta flip this. Let's take is patrolling and use the not Boolean. That's going to flip it so that if I was patrolling, this will give me a false, and if I'm not patrolling, this will give me a true. So I want it, if I'm not patrolling, that's true, then we can go on to do our movement. So there's another, there's a little thing here, let's see. So we want to set our patrolling, set is patrolling. So now we're patrolling once we get through here. But we'd also like to stop all of our movement immediately. So if we were already chasing someone or doing something else, we want to stop movement immediately. There we go. So that automatically gives us the character movement hookup. We're good. So whatever we're doing, stop what you're doing, and then we'll tell you to patrol. So patrolling is going to be using this move to node, moving yourself to waypoint 1. Great. And when you have finished moving to that spot, then we can, on success, we can move to the next spot. You want to use the on success because this happens once you finally get to that location. If you use the top one, this is going to always happen immediately, and that's not what we want. So on success, we'll do an AI move to another one, but this one is going to go take ourself and send us to waypoint 2. Okay. So we are starting our patrol. If we are not already patrolling, we say, yes, we're patrolling now. Stop all of our movement and start moving toward our first waypoint. When we get to our first waypoint, then we move to our second waypoint. And when we get to our second waypoint, we finished moving to the second waypoint. On success, we'll grab this and hook it backwards all the way back to the first movement. So we've finished our second waypoint, move it back to our first waypoint. Okay, compile and save that. It's a little weird having this this thing all the way over there. But let's go back into Unreal. And this guy should have both of those waypoints set already. You check them, select them, go to the default section. Waypoint 1, waypoint 2 here are set. Press play. Okay, there he goes. Nice. Alright, he's going to do that all day. And he can hurt me. Okay. So he's going a little fast. I think I would like to slow him down a bit. So I could choose this character. Let's see. And way down in the character movement. Let's see, character movement. That one, character movement walking. That's a different section. max walk speed. Let's go down to like 150 or something. Crouching doesn't really matter. Max walk speed, let's do 150 and see if that feels alright. Okay. So, kind of slow, but for an enemy that I want to be able to avoid, this seems fine. Going back and forth between those two waypoints. So let's just do this forever. He's kind of stuck in that loop. And actually, I can take a look at that. If I press F8, I can get my cursor back and select this guy. Select him. Okay, whatever. AI character 3? Oh, I did select him. Okay. And then you can look at his event graph as it simulates. And you can see whenever he gets to an endpoint, he switches back the other way and it triggers. Cool. All right. So we got that going. Now we have to add in the chase functionality. So for chasing, we're going to follow a very similar pattern here. I'm going to add a custom event. And this is going to be do chase. And we will have the same logic. So branch. But this Boolean, I'm going to be using the is chasing. And I want you to be not is chasing. All right, so we're not chasing yet. If we are not chasing yet, then we will set chasing is chasing to true. All right, and here's where we should make these two kind of interact with each other. If I'm chasing, I should not be patrolling anymore. So I'm going to drag this and set is patrolling to false, so unchecked. And I'll add it here as well, where I want to set is chasing to false. All right, so we'll do both of those. All right, so we have set chasing to true, patrolling to false, and we will stop our movement immediately. Stop movement immediately. Good. And now our AI move to, we will grab that. We can copy it, or I can just AI move to. There we are. So our self as the pawn and our target actor. Now we don't really have a target actor yet. That's going to depend on detecting our player character. For now, though, we can act like we do have one. In do chase, if I select this custom event, I can go over on the right, and there's an input section. And in the input section, I can press plus, a new parameter, and here I can say like chase target, and change this to an actor. Okay. So that puts an extra like parameter here, some extra information for us. When we do ever start a chase, we have to say which actor we're going to be chasing, and then we can use that chase target to move to them. And so it ends up being a little bit simpler than the patrol because we're going straight at this one actor. Okay, cool. So that's our chase, and now we have to decide, well, when do you start chasing? And so we're going to have to check every once in a while to see if the player character is nearby. If the player character is nearby, then we'll do chase, and if the player character is not nearby, we'll do patrol, and that will keep us going. Okay. So we'll do our event tick. Event tick is our update. This is going to happen every frame. You could throw in a delay here so that you don't have to check every frame for the player to be nearby, but we'll just do this. So we can drag off of this and do a sphere overlap. So let's do sphere overlap actors. We're trying to detect if there are any actors nearby. So the sphere position, where we're trying to detect things, the center of this this test is going to be our location. So get location, get actor location, right? And then the object types, well, let's do the sphere radius. In Unity units, it's going to be centimeters, so maybe something like 3 meters, 300 centimeters. And then the object types, we'll drag that off and make array. We'll make an array of object types that we're going to be able to detect nearby. And really, I think the only object type we need is pawn, so change over to that. We'll detect a pawn, and then we will filter out any actors that are not a specific class. So let's select the class filter, and we kind of know what this guy's going to be that we're looking for, which is good. It is a third-person character. So we'll only detect third-person character actors, and those are what we're going to end up chasing. So when we do that sphere overlap, we now have an array, just a container, a group of actors that are things that I should be chasing after. This group might be empty. If it's empty, then I didn't find anybody. If it is not empty, then I did find people. This return value is also going to tell me whether or not there's anything in there. So that might be the easier way to go about it. You can use this return value to tell whether or not you should chase, and but there's other ways too. So I'll show you another way to work with this array. So the array does have a length property. This will tell you how many actors are in that array. If it is 0, then we don't do chasing. We just go back to patrolling. And if it's greater than 0, then we do our chasing. So I'll do it that way. But you could just use that return value. So let's see if this length is greater than 0. To do that test, we'll need a branch off of this. And let's see, so hook up that condition. And in the true case, this is when we're going to want to chase that one guy. So to chase that one guy, we're going to have to use we're going to have to get that first guy from this array of actors. We can ignore all the rest of them, but drag off of this array and get, this says get a copy. So index 0, that's going to be the first guy in there. That's what we want. So if this is the case, we're going to branch off and we're going to do chase that chase target. Okay. And if there are not more than 0, so if there are 0 guys that we should be chasing, then we will do, what was that, patrol? Yeah, do patrol. So our 2 options there. Okay, all right, that was a lot. Let's see how this works. Every frame, we're checking to see if there are guys near us with a sphere radius of 3 meters. They have to be pawns and they have to be third-person characters. Okay, and if we find any, we chase them, and if we don't find any, we go about our patrol. Okay, whoa, all right, he came right at me. So he is going off on his patrol. I think I started off a little too close. Going on his patrol, and then when I get nearby, oh, he's coming after me. So he's chasing me, and then if I get too far away, he loses me and goes back to his patrol. Nice. That seems pretty good. All right, let me just move him somewhere else so that, whoops, I don't want to duplicate him. Let's see. Move him just a little bit away from me so that when I play, he starts doing his patrol first. Nice. All right. Ow, you got me. Yeah. All right, there we go. So that's a way that we can set up all of that complexity there. Pretty interesting movement that this guy has now. He'll go back and forth, and when he gets close, he'll chase after you. It's pretty fun. I might want to increase his speed a bit, make it a little more hectic. But try to have some fun with it, and I hope you enjoyed that. See you later.